14, you guys, if I would have read the question on Friday, we would have done 14 before we quit. Because this is the same type of question as 12 and 13, which most people say, you know, I don't like those because it's rearranging stuff. 14, solve the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle for W. If that's where you read first, I hope you know the formula for perimeter of a rectangle. If you read above it, though, it tells you what formula to use. So we're starting with P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And they want us to get W alone. So what do we need to do first? What's the easiest thing to move away from our W?
2L.
The 2L. And how do I move it?
Subtract it.
Subtract it. So I have P minus 2L equals 2W. I'm still aiming to get this W by itself. Divide by 2. Because that's the only thing there that's with the W now. So W equals P minus 2L over 2. What's our answer? C. Okay, so that finishes that page. 3. You guys, there are 3 or 4 questions that go just with this information. So on the day of the test, if you get this first question and you want me to check and make sure you got the right answer, bring it up or call me to your seat and say, hey, I filled in this table, this is the answer, am I right? And I'll say yes. Now, if you say the answer is A, and I say no, don't say, well, is it B? Is it C? Is it, okay, I'm not going to play that game with you. Who does that? Fumiko and Kenji leave home at the same time, traveling in opposite directions. Fumiko drives 50 miles per hour and Kenji drives 55 miles per hour. So before we look at these choices, fill it in. That way you don't get confused looking back and forth. So what does the R stand for? Rate. Good. And what does the T stand for? Time. So how fast does Fumiko drive?
50.
50. Do we know how long he drives or she drives or?
Nope.
No. So just a T. And rate times time gives us 50T. How fast does Kenji drive?
55.
55. Same thing. We don't know how long. Do they leave at the same time or do they leave? Does Kenji leave early or later?
Same time.
Same amount of time. So 55T. As long as you have this filled out and you can pick which one is right, if you want me to double check you on the day of the test, then I'd be happy to say, yes, that's right, or no, that's not right. What is the right answer?
D.
D. In second period this morning, at the almost exact same time, I had somebody say A and somebody say D. What's the difference?
They're switched.
The speeds are switched. So if you would have circled A and said, Ms. Holbrook, did I get the right one? I might say, double check those rates. That's the type of answer I'll give you if you're wrong. Okay? I'm not going to stand there and then say, oh no, it should be this one. Okay, so D, tables match. The next question says to write an equation that could be used to determine when they will be 630 miles apart. Okay, so we've got Fumiko going one way at 50 miles an hour, yes, and Kenji going the other way at 55 miles an hour. Let's look at what this means. So Fumiko's driving plus Kenji's driving until they're 630 miles apart. Does that sound right? I had some yeses, some no's. Okay, well let's look at our choices. Kenji's driving minus Fumiko's driving equals 630 miles apart. I'm not getting any response. Does it make sense that you would subtract the one driving from the other driving? No. Okay, here they're multiplying their driving. Does it make sense to multiply their driving? Not by each other, per hour maybe. All right, what's that T plus 1 mean?
Time.
It's time plus 1, so that would be like Kenji here getting a head start, driving 1 hour longer. Well, that's not it. It doesn't tell us anywhere that he's driving longer. So let's go back and think about A. Fumiko's driving plus Kenji's driving until they're 630 miles apart. Does that seem to make sense? Yeah, it does. And it's the only one, once you go through and eliminate the rest, that makes any sense. And then again, You had to have this one right to get this one right, and you had to get this one right to get this one right. How many hours will they be 630 miles apart? This is the equation we need to solve. So 50t plus 55t is, thank you, 105t equals 630. Divide by 105. And how many hours? 6. So the answer, I'm not sure what just happened there. The answer is D, 6 hours.
Good job.
Make sense? Okay, this next one, I'm not going to lie, guys. When I first looked at this one, it gave me a little bit of a headache because I wasn't sure what we were going after right away. This ends up being a systems of equations problem. But we're going to start just by reading the information and filling in that grid. Big Dog sells a beef-based dog food for $2.30 per pound. Beef, price per pound, $2.30. And a lamb-based food for $3.80 per pound. They sell a mixture of the two kinds for $2.90 per pound. Let B represent the amount of beef the company uses in 8 pounds of the mixture. Everybody okay with where I got my numbers and what I put where? It's in there, and I got it from up there, right? He's good. How can I figure out how many pounds of lamb I need? Math. Oh, I'm geniuses. It's okay. All right. If I had 1 pound of beef, how many pounds would have to be lamb? 8 minus B. I would need 7 pounds of lamb, right? The whole mixture is 8 pounds. I know how much beef we're going to use, so 8 minus the beef tells you how much lamb you need. And now the total price, so this would be $2.30 times B. This is $3.80 times 8 minus B. And this is 8 times $2.90. Just multiplying for price. So which grid matches? B. B. Why is A wrong?
Because it's wrong.
This is backwards, right?
Yeah.
And again, they want you to rush so you don't notice stuff like that. This is another question, just like that Fumiko question, that I would be surprised if it's not identical on your test. I'm not guaranteeing that it'll be identical, but it'll shock me if all these numbers aren't exactly the same. All right, so we've got B. 19 and 20 wants to know how many pounds of beef-based food and how many pounds of lamb-based food. Now, I already gave you the hint that this is a system of equations. So what are we mixing together? Beef and lamb. Somebody answered it like, I can't believe that she's asking this question. And how much do I have when I add the beef and the lamb together? 8 pounds. So beef plus lamb is 8. I've got a bunch of prices up there too, right? So I probably need to do something with my prices. So the beef was $2.30, right? So $2.30 times beef plus, is it $3.80 for lamb? $3.80 L equals 8 times $2.90. Those are the two equations we have to work with. Now, we can either do substitution or elimination. I don't care which method. Either way, we're going to have some math to do. So do you want to multiply this top equation by either 230 or 380? Or do you want to subtract the beef and substitute for L? There's no right or wrong answer here, somebody, so I just, whatever you want to do. Somebody, pick one.
First option.
Substitution? All right. So for substitution, I'm going to get B by itself by subtracting the lamb. Right? So beef equals 8 minus the lamb. Are we all right with that so far? Okay, stop me if I lose you. So 2/3, it's too late, thanks. 230 instead of B, I'm going to write 8 minus L plus 380 L equals this multiplied out, let's see, it's 24, 20, 72. Wait, I lost it. 16 plus 720 is 2320. There we go. All I did was let that calculator can do for you right there.
Calculator was about
It would have done it faster probably. So now we're going to distribute the 230. So 230 times 8 is 16 plus 240, so 1840 minus 230L plus 380L equals 2320. Everybody okay with that?
fast.
So let's combine like terms. I'll subtract the 1840, subtract the 1840, and then negative 230 plus 380 leaves us with 150L equals 4.8. 480. Okay, I did negative 2.3 plus 3.8 to get 1.5L, and I subtracted 1840 from both sides. Now how do I finish finding my number of pounds of lamb?
Divide.
Divide by 1.5. Or $1.50, however you want to say that. And the pounds of L is 3.2. The L stands for lamb. Which question is asking about the lamb? 20. So be careful, you guys, when you're dealing with a systems of equations question. Make sure that whatever answer you found goes with the right question. So in this case, A, 3.2, goes with number 20. And notice, that's one of your answer choices for 19. So they're counting on you messing that up. Yeah? Okay, so how do I find out how many pounds of beef I need then?
Okay.
8 minus 3.2. C, 4.8. Again, that is that is the hardest of the multiple choice questions you're going to deal with.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay.
So 3 questions that kind of go together. Again, if you start setting up your systems of equations and you want to make sure you have them written right, call me over. I will tell you, yes, you're going, you're headed in the right direction, or no, we need to change and look at it this way instead. All right, completely switching gears. We're now dealing with slope. Woohoo, easy stuff, right?
Well,
What are the words that you first learn when you learn about slope? Rise over run, good. This is all we need to consider with this question. A board is leaning against a building, so here's my building, there's my board, so that the top of the board reaches a height of 18 feet. The bottom of the board is on the ground 4 feet away. See, wait, there, it's on the ground, 4 feet away. What is the slope of the board as a positive number? So, rise, what's the rise here? 18, what's the run? Uh-oh, I don't have 18 over 4. Simplify. So divide each by 2 and we get 9 over 2, which is B. Good. Yes.
none? Whatever you want.
Okay. Moving on. Same type of question here with slope, you guys. They give you a drawing this time. You said before, rise over run. So what's the rise?
8.
8. What's the run?
20.
Simplified, it becomes? Divide both by 4. So your slope is 2/5, which is?
C.
C. All right, now this is where on your park reference sheet, this is the first time I would be writing down a formula. We need the actual slope formula. So if you remember, slope is usually shown as M. If you don't remember that, you can write slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Hopefully by now you remember that that makes this x and this y, and this is an x and this is a y. Does it matter which I call point 1 or point 2? It doesn't matter at all. So y2 minus y1, I'm going to do 4 minus negative 2 over 5 minus negative 3. For those of you that like to do your chick boom, yes, that means addition. But if I wrote a plus sign here, somebody on the day of the test will add the points instead of subtracting them.